This is a video on the portfolio return application. It's a little deeper dive than the overview, going into some features that you can activate, and I'll show you how to go through that. Also want to talk about the drop-down menu. In fact, what I'm talking about is this, what referred to as this list that appears when you do the drop-down in E1. And then want to end up talking about how you configure any portfolio to be read-only. Alright, so first off, let's talk about some of these quick configuration things you can do to change slightly the behavior of the application. Only really three that I would recommend out of, and they're down here. Highlighted four, but three out of these four. One is has to do with highlighting. Let's just go look and see what that did. So here in column L and M, if you want to see highlighted the largest and smallest value in the column, you would put that to on. Again, I'll take it off so you can see the difference. The other one is the auto of, I'll show you what it does, is that if you come over here to any stock and you look at the number of shares that you own, if you want to drill down on the shares themselves, then what you'll get is automatic pivoting or filtering here on that particular stock. Now if I come back and go back, it automatically unfilters. But let's go look at another one like this Axel. This portfolio just doesn't have a lot of activity, so when I pivot it just shows the initial buy pretty much. Alright, so that's what that does. I'm going to go ahead and put it back to manual, which means that you have to do the filtering yourself when you go off to the View Portfolio worksheet. And then the last one I think you would find of interest, marginal interest, is turning this on here, and then when you go off and actually I just picked a different, no, this is the portfolio we're looking at, my new. So now when it comes back and refreshes, you'll notice in the company column, column E, that it's been, all the company names have been appended with some characters that you can read about in the README. But the vertical is the S&P 500, means the stock is part of the S&P 500. The exclamation point means that Polaris considers the stock to be stable. So if you're a Polaris subscriber, that probably is a something that you would want to change and be able to view. But outside of those three things, that's about all you typically would want to change. And since I went ahead and turned off the appending of those special characters, I'm going to go ahead and resubmit the portfolio, and you'll see here that comes back there without the appended characters. Since originally recording this video, another configuration option has been added that you might find useful, namely in cells H1, J1, and L1. On the Manage Worksheet, you can now turn on and off the highlighting of an active row. So to show you what this does, I'm going to turn it off for the View Portfolio worksheet. Now going to the worksheet, let's just bring in the model portfolio, and what you're going to see is I click on different tickers in the model portfolio, nothing gets the row does not get highlighted. But when I go back into the Manage worksheet and change that option, see here if I click just what you'd expect. If I go back to the Manage worksheet and turn this on, come back and I click on a specific ticker, I will see, now it's got to be just the ticker itself. If I click on something else and then come back to the ticker, it'll not show, it'll toggle the highlighting of that row on and off. You can also highlight a row in this by clicking on this column, the ticker column heading. You can also turn it off. This highlighting works for the View portfolio as well. If you click on a ticker and then I click on something else and come back, it toggles it off. And then the update as well, as if this was populated and you clicked on that ticker, that row would be highlighted. All right, the next topic I want to get into is this thing around lists. When you do the drop down, there are typically portfolios that are already listed. At any time you can go out there and just type in whatever, literally whatever portfolio you may think is out there. Maybe it's some friend of yours that's using this application. They've informed you about a portfolio they created, and they made it so you can access it. So you can just simply go out there and type it in. I recommend that that you manage this list either by the menu item that's available in E8. When we get this back up, you'll see. So if I go down here to E8, you can see here that you can do update portfolio list. Well, when I select that, it's going to assume that if it's currently on the list and you type it in, let's say my new, and it's currently on your list, which it is, it's going to remove it. But if it's not on your list, it's going to add it. So here I'll go ahead and you can see here that it's going to remove it from the list. It doesn't delete the portfolio, it just removes it from your list. So now when I come up and look at my list, it's not on there. I can get to it by typing my new, if I know, assuming that I know that this portfolio exists. And then I can, instead of having to type it in every time, I can add it back to my list by going back to that same menu item of update portfolio. Now you do in E8, anytime you want to select a specific menu item, you have to reselect it even if it's currently showing. So here it says, all right, my new, it defaults to what your current portfolio is. I say OK, and it comes back and says, well, do you want to add it? So again, it'll either go subtract it or add it depending if it's on the list or not, and I'll say, yeah, go ahead and add it. All right, that's one way. The other way you can modify your list is you can just unhide the worksheet that contains the list. And here you can see that my new is on there, but now you can go through and literally just cut and paste anywhere in this column, and then the next time you query any portfolio, it'll the app will come out and reorder this worksheet so that the first two selections in the menu are always a blank in the create portfolio option, and then the last on the always be model. Then everything in between will be whatever you identified. So either way, going to the worksheet list gives you more control, but there's no need to feel like you have to unhide it and do it through that means. All right, the last topic I want to talk about in this video has to do with access control to your portfolio. So let's say I've got this my new, and I've got no password on or passcode on this portfolio, and I've told some friends about it. Hey, I'm using this app. I thought you might be interested in kind of following my portfolio, see how it's doing. But you really don't want anybody else to be able to edit the and change things around, add transactions. So you want it to make it read-only. So with the portfolio that you want to change access control to being displayed, you select this menu item, and it'll first time you do it, it'll start off in full control, meaning that read write, you can do everything. If you know the passcode, if there is one, you can do everything to the portfolio as if you're the owner. But here, if I want to change it to read only, it'll come back and it'll say, okay, we've set it to read only. Now, do you want to associate a PIN with this functionality in order to turn it off or on? This is different than a passcode, meaning you can still give my new to other users. They will be able to access your journal entries and therefore look at your portfolio. But only you, once you enter this PIN, and as long as you don't share the PIN with anybody else, only you will be able to take it out of read-only mode. Now you can see here, if you enter a blank, it essentially means you don't want to have a PIN, or you kind of think of it as a blank PIN. Let's say I don't want a PIN, I just want to put it in read-only, and it says, okay, we're just going to keep it as was, just a blank PIN. But now if I go out there and try to do an update, let's say I want to do something from, and I want to add a new ticker, let's say Microsoft, and I'm going to buy price of, let's say 110, and I'm going to do 25 shares. Alright, I should be able to add that normally. Well, now I try to add it, and it says either you don't have a valid portfolio selected, which I do because I come up here in D1 and I can see that my new is the active portfolio, or the portfolio is read-only. Well, if you're not sure which case that is, I mean, you just come back. I'm going to clear that for now. You come back to view portfolio and you say, well, I've got an active portfolio. Well, maybe it is the access control. So you can come out here and say, it'll tell you what the current access control is. Now, if you don't know the PIN, you're not going to be able to change it. So here you're just being told what it is, and so you just cancel out of this. Now, unlike a passcode, which can be auto-recovered, in fact, there's a separate video on this application's playlist out there on the YouTube channel that goes over passcode, automatic passcode recovery. There is no automatic PIN recovery, so if you forget the PIN, you really only have two options. One is to contact support, or the second is to simply make a copy of this portfolio, because it is still will be in read-only, and then work with the new portfolio. Copy of portfolio, just select copy on the update journal, and then say no to this prompt, and it'll go off to your journal and bring in all the journal entries. Then come over here to view portfolio and select you want to create a new portfolio. Then once that portfolio is created, you simply go back to the update journal, which will still have the transactions from the previous portfolio, and then you just say add, and that'll bring in those journal entries into the new portfolio. Alright, so this video was about three things, just in summary. It's one about a little bit of configuration you can do around the functionality of the spreadsheet of the application itself. Talked about how you can modify drop-down lists. You enter what appears in this menu item in E1, and then the last thing was we talked about how to put your portfolio in read-only. And I'll finish with taking it out of read-only. So let's come back here, change, and it'll say, okay, you're in read-only. Do you want to change back to full? Yes. And it'll say, okay, now we're set back to full. And then it asks again, hey, do you want to associate a PIN with this type of operation in the future? And let's leave it blank. All right. Well, thanks for watching.